but 0 to 100 is perfectly fine for this sample. Now, if R modulus, which is shift 5, so if R mod 2 is equal to 0, which means it's an even number that we achieved from randomizing, texture is equal to S1. Otherwise, texture is equal to S2. Now position is equal to new vector 2, and we're basically going to copy the position logic from the initialize method to there. So let's go ahead and do that there. If position dot y is greater than graphics device dot viewport dot height minus texture dot height, which means the texture is now going below the bottom of the game window, so it'll be cut off. We want position dot y is equal to graphics device dot viewport dot height minus texture dot height. So you can just copy and paste that below. Semicolon. Now that's it for the generate random sprite. Unload content, we're just gonna null all textures. Texture is equal to null. S1 is equal to null. S2 is equal to null. Okay, so now the update method. Position plus equals velocity. So we update the position by adding velocity to it. Delay timer is equal to delay timer dot subtract game time dot elapsed game time. So we use the built-in subtract method, which returns a time span. So we need to that's why we didn't need delay timer is equal to delay timer dot subtract. If delay timer dot total seconds is less than or equal to 0, we want to generate random sprite and set delay timer is equal to time span dot from seconds max time. Okay, so now for the sprite batch dot draw, or begin first, and this is in the draw method. Sprite batch dot draw texture comma position comma color dot white, end parentheses and semicolon sprite batch dot end. Now if we press F5 and run it, hopefully everything should be fine, except we're missing a semicolon somewhere right there. So now if we press F5 and run it, enemy, 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 player, enemy, player, enemy, enemy, player. So it is randomizing. Now the player is a bit messed up. I manually changed the player sprite to a rotated to the proper degree. If you don't care about that, just leave it alone. If you do, you can just load up the content. You can right click that, open it in Windows Explorer. You can open the player.png in the Windows Photo Viewer. You can just rotate it that way. close it, it'll save it automatically. Now if we press F5, player is now rotated properly. So there you go. So that's it for this tutorial. It was a short one. It made up for the last tutorial being a 50-minute tutorial. So I hope you learned how to randomize sprites properly and the general idea on how to preload content to memory, as I discussed in the very beginning of the tutorial. If you have 2,000 textures, of course you do not want to load every single one of them. If you have under 10 of them, you might as well. So, hope to see you next time. We'll discuss a mouse.